Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. Today's tutorial is going to be covering something pretty cool. We all like to say that we're successful in the world, and what better way to measure success than by having your face on Mount Rushmore? Well, today my son is going to achieve that level because I'm going to be putting his face on Mount Rushmore. We'll begin by opening up the two images we're going to use. I will go to Windows, Arrange, Float on Windows, and we're going to put his face on top of Abe Lincoln's face. Not that we're demoting Abe Lincoln, we're just promoting my son. And I'm going to take the magnetic lasso and we're going to cut out his face. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be the full face, because we're going to be manipulating this and we won't be using the full face. You'll see what I'm talking about soon enough. Alright, so we're taking his face, and there we go. We're going to transfer his face now over to Abe Lincoln. Good God. We'll reduce this image. We'll open up this image a little more. Use the middle wheel of my mouse to zoom up. Now I want to arrange his face over Abe's face and try to match it to Abe's face as much as I possibly can. So we're going to get an X-ray assisted view here by using the opacity tool. And now I'm going to reduce his face, shrink it, and align it. We're going to try to match his eyes for Abe's eyes, his lips for Abe's lips. And middle wheel of my mouse to bring this up. And that's pretty close. In fact, that's pretty freaky, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Good. That's close enough. Now what I'm going to do is bring the opacity back up again so we see his full face again. We'll apply that. Now, Mount Rushmore is like a whitish marblish stone, and his face is in full flesh color, so we're going to have to fix that. We'll go to Image, Adjustments, Desaturate, bring his face into black and white, but now we have to match the color and the tones of the mountain. So again, we'll go to Image, Adjust, and we're going to go to Brightness and Contrast. And we're going to lighten him up a bit and play with the contrast a little bit until we get him as close to the mountain stone color as possible. I may be adjusting this here and there as I'm doing this. So this is okay for now. This is pretty good. Alright, now of course none of the faces here of our presidents have black hair like this. So we're going to eliminate that hair, and I can use the erase tool on his layer, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the history brush. And what the history brush will do, right click, bring up that panel, increase the diameter. The history brush is going to replace the image on his layer with the original image from the underneath layer. And I don't know, I just think that's a better way to go than just erasing. I guess it really doesn't make much of a difference, but I don't know, it's just the way I want to do it. Okay, so we're erasing or replacing his hair with old Abe hair. Okay, and we're going to come around here, the side of the face and the chin. I'm going to right click, bring up this panel, reduce the diameter of my brush, use the middle wheel of my mouse, zoom up the image. I'm going to work around his chin and try to blend his chin into Abe's chin a bit. Okay, this area of his face we'll try to blend in a little bit more. Okay, now some of the imperfections you see here, I can backstep, obviously. And we'll redo this and make it look a little better. There we go. Now what I can also do to try to help blend this in a little bit more is use a little bit of a cheat and use the the smudge tool. Now, I wouldn't use the smudge tool on everything because if it's a detailed photo, obviously the smudge tool will destroy it. But an image like this, the smudge tool can actually, if used properly, help blend the images together a little nicer. See? Now I'm kind of just blending that in a little bit, getting rid of some of these little imperfections here. If used properly, it can be a useful tool. There we go. Okay, now the next step I'm going to do is use the burn tool to create shadows. I'm going to try to match the shadowing as much as I possibly can with the other faces here on Mount Rushmore. So we're going to go here and we're going to use the burn tool. Right click, bring up this panel, reduce the diameter of the brush, and I'm going to shadow in under the eyes, because the other statues or the other busts have the eyes shadowed a bit. I'm going to shadow in the side of the nose. I'm going to shadow in under the nose here, lips and under the lips. I'll increase the diameter of my brush a bit, and I'm going to shadow in a little bit the face, following the contour of the face a bit. Okay. I'm going to go back to my smudge tool. You know, you're going to have to work with this. You know, nothing is one perfect step. Just work with it and you'll get it right. I'll backstep that because I overdid that. Okay, I'll reduce the diameter of my brush and I'll just do a little bit in here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, now we're going to take a look at this and we're going to say, the eyes. We need to We're going to use the dodge tool and we're going to brighten up the eyes a bit because his eyes are a little too dark. Right click, bring up this panel, bring down the diameter of my brush, and we're going to lighten in the eyes just a bit. Not too light, otherwise they'll look like zombie eyes. Just enough. Okay. Now let us play a little bit more with the brightness and contrast. And notice, you see all this white around here, that glow? That's because I used the history brush and it affected the surrounding area. That could be corrected by just getting the erase tool, and I'll just erase around that whole area that was affected by the history brush that I didn't want affected by the history brush. There we go. Now the next step is, notice the original faces have little lines and veins and cracks through them. So we're going to duplicate that by getting our color picker, and we're going to steal a color from this little crack here. Now when I do the cracks and the lines, I like to do it in a new layer because I like to be able to adjust the opacity. And we have a very small diameter brush for this. And I'm going to put a crack over his nose, maybe run a crack through the lip a little bit, crack in the head. There we go. I guess you could say he's cracked, huh? The eye. He wouldn't like me saying that. Alright, so now we'll go to the opacity, and we'll bring the opacity of those cracks down, and rather than just looking like lines on a photo, it's going to give it more of an illusion of being actual cracks. See that? There we go. Alright, now notice this area here, I want to correct that. I'll go to my smudge once again. I'll go to the middle layer where the my son's image is. And I'll just... maybe that's on the original image. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah. Just going to use this much just to tease that in a little bit so it's not so prevalent there. Okay. Next step, I'm going to go back to my son's layer, and I'm going to give a little texture to the image here. It looks really smooth, like a regular photo. We don't want that. We want to have a bit of a texture to make it look a little bit more like stone. So we're going to go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and we're going to use this little thing called Crackleore. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure, but it's in the texture right here. Open that up, and oh, God forbid, that's a bit much. Now I could adjust the intensity of this effect in the filter gallery itself, but I don't like doing that. I like to do it by using the Edit Fade Filter Gallery, because I can see exactly what I'm doing on the image that I'm working with this way. Okay, so we're going to reduce that effect a little bit so it can give the image a little bit more of a textured look rather than just the smooth image. There we go. And let's see what else we want to do here. We can add a little bit more of a shadow by using the burn tool. Let me just try this. I may keep this, I may not. Right click, bring up that panel, bring up the bring down the diameter of the brush, and let's see if I just give a little more shadow in here, a little more shadow over here, give it a little more dimension. Yeah, there we go. Okay, well, there you see it. I have now given my son a great place in this world by placing his face on Mount Rushmore. Let me just try one more thing here. I'll go to Image, Adjustment, go to my Contrast and Brightness control. Let me see if I just play with this a little tiny bit more. Give it a little bit more of a blending. Okay, there we go. That's good enough. Again, I do this quickly. I sacrifice quality and I sacrifice some detail for the sake of time, but it gives you a general idea of what I'm doing. It gives you a general idea of what it's supposed to look like and how to do it. I hope you try this. I hope you enjoy it. If you enjoy this video, I ask you to please subscribe, and until I see you again, happy photoshopping. Bye.